For me, it was tough to get to here, man, and it wasn't an easy road to get to the NFL, and I've been doubted my whole career, not just in NFL, college. When I tore my 2 ACLs, a lot of people say, I won't even be here 2 or 3 years, and now, my year 15, still having fun, still making plays, still helping, a team win games, and I'm blessed.
Frank Gore after Sunday's win by the Buffalo Bills over the Denver Broncos. More importantly for Gore, he is now number 3 all-time on the career rushing list, something that is not supposed to happen in this era of fantasy football passing numbers and revolving door tailback positions. It's amazing what he has done, and that leads us into
it's a Hall of
Week
Famer.
12 superlatives.
It is. He's a Hall of Famer.
I saw an article.
Is he in the class of those guys right there for me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
In what way?
He's just
You're
not.
saying he's not a Hall of Famer?
I'm saying he is a Hall of Famer, but he's not in the class of those guys that are on that graphic.
But what
there.
do you mean by the class?
Because
what do you mean?
To me, those
he's no different than Emmitt Smith.
I disagree with you there.
Emmitt Smith is a guy who was able to show up every week.
Right.
He ran hard.
Yep.
He hit the holes.
Yep.
He had a great team around him.
Sure.
He wasn't the fastest guy. He wasn't the shiftiest
Sure.
guy. That's Frank Gore. He's Frank Gore who didn't get to play on a great team.
I still think if you went back and we took the 100 greatest runs from Emmitt Smith's career and the 100 greatest runs of Frank Gore, you'd go, whoa, Emmitt Smith's were definitely better. It's not even close. He breaks tackles. I'm not trying to take anything away from Frank Gore, but I also don't think he's in the super elite class of some of the people he's passing up. I don't.
But he's still passing them up.
He is.
That's what makes it amazing. I think that makes it even more impressive that he's getting more career yardage than guys who were physically superior to him.
Yeah, it is. That's what's amazing. Exactly right. That's really, it's almost a test of time. It's a test of will because he had 3 ACL injuries when he was at Miami and just all of those things. That's where it's phenomenal. But again, I would argue, I'm not sure through his great career, I think there's only 1 year where you'd say he was one of the 5 best running backs in football. That's the only thing I fight
He
back
had a
with
season
it
of 1,600 plus rushing
He did,
yards.
and that would probably be the year I would look at it. So that's where I get. I know I'm not trying to sound like a hater.
It's superlatives.
It's just
This isn't
conversation.
This isn't knock the Hall of Famer
It's a good
segment. This is
conversation.
superlatives. It's right there on the screen.
Go ahead. You lead it off since I just led that charge.
Well, I want to give some love to Frank Gore.
Okay, good.
Right?
Let's continue the conversation then.
I'd say, this is the Frank Gore is a Hall of Famer award. There was an article, I don't know who wrote it.
Right.
The name didn't ring a bell. Somebody in the Washington Post said he's not a Hall of Famer. Are you kidding me? The guy's not a Hall of Famer. Look, the guy's had the longevity. He's had the durability. It is the toughest position to play. You talk all the time about the car crash.
Yes, right.
To be able to come back year after year, to earn a spot on a roster, to earn playing time, to earn the reps, to earn the trust of a coaching staff,
right.
To be the guy who runs into the brick wall, play after play, week after week, year after year, and you look back at his career, it is incredible what he's done.
It is.
And I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I've been in this You're a Hall of Famer camp for several years.
Right.
What do you say when you hear people say you're not? And
right.
he started rattling off numbers from years when the 49ers had no offensive line and they were signing guys off the street, and he still averaged 4 yards a carry over and over and over again. This is a guy who just keeps going and going and going and going, a guy who shouldn't have played for very long. It's amazing to see it happen because so few can pull that off. And to play as long as he has, to get to where he is, to pass Barry freaking Sanders.
Yeah,
and now we know Sanders would have had more than anybody if he would have played as long as he could have.
Right.
But still, to pass a guy like Barry Sanders and to have a reasonable shot at Walter Payton. Walter Payton's 1,500 yards away. I said, what about Payton? He said, we'll see. And who, as long as they keep giving him opportunities, I think that's what's more impressive than anything else.
Yeah.
He wants to keep doing it.
Yeah.
He's in shape to keep doing it, but he still finds teams that let him have the role where he can keep racking up the yardage.
Definitely. And that's what it is. It's will, it's toughness. Of course, there's talent. I'm not trying to take anything away from him there.
How many games do you think he's missed due to injury during his career? Give me a number.
I almost want to just say 4 or 5.
It's 10.
Yeah.
Which still seems like not that
insane.
many.
That's insane. For a running back. Again, I would argue that it's worse to be a running back in the NFL than it is to be a heavyweight boxer. I mean, that's how much you get smashed. I mean, I used to give the ball to running backs, whether it be Mike Allstott or Cadillac Williams, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, my neck would have broke 7 times on that play. Like, how could they do that?
I mean, did you ever flinch from the sound of the collisions?
Without a doubt. I used to literally I used to get yelled at by Gruden sometimes because he'd be like, would you carry out your fakes? And I was like, I had to turn around and watch that run. I got to see it. I couldn't help it, because I would be an amazing. You'd hear and you'd be like, oh my gosh, he's still running? What? So that's amazing. I think I'm going to go the Still Fighting Award for the fighting New York Jets, all right? I'm just amazed by what they're doing here as of late. Again, it would have been very easy to pack it in. Adam Gase, everybody wants his head a few weeks ago. We got to fire him. What's going on with Sam Darnold? He doesn't look good. And here we are, the New York Jets just absolutely put a beat down on the Oakland Raiders yesterday, who are in the AFC playoff conversation. Now, the score's misleading. I do want to say that. The Raiders had some really big drops in the first half of that game that would have changed the outlook and the forecast of the game to where I think it's closer. But regardless, Adam Gase has done a phenomenal job of starting games out. We talk about coaches with their first 10 or their first 12. The Jets have been a machine the last few weeks in the first drive of the game, and that's all coaching and figuring out the right plays and sequencing to go down and have those scores. Sam Darnold has played really well. Now, this play right here, if you're watching on TV, there was a roughing the passer call in the first drive.
Very questionable.
I mean, pitiful. That's all I can say. But that gave the Jets a first down, gives them first and goal. Sam Darnold runs it in the next play. But Darnold's played good not only within the pocket, but as we see, when it becomes backyard football, he's really good. Robbie Anderson's getting going. Everything about the Jets has been very impressive. And again, here's another great play design. Sam Darnold looking to the right, going to throw looks like a screen pass, kind of pumps it, and they got a little Braxton Berrios over the middle. He makes a big play. So it's creative game plan. Good play altogether. The Jets' defense, their run defense was phenomenal yesterday against that big offensive line with the Raiders. And the Jets they got a little momentum here and something to build on. And, it's like Le'Veon Bell said, trust the process a little bit. He's been around the block a few times, and I think he saw some positive things from the coaching staff and the organization that he liked.
Let's put up the Jets' schedule because I think it gets interesting for them. They're not done. And Jamal Adams and Sam Darnold a couple of weeks ago talking about possibly being alive for the postseason, and people scoffed. And now they've won 3 in a row, and 1-7 became 4-7. They've got at the Bengals 5-7, Dolphins 6-7, at the Ravens. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Steelers, Bills. Look, they can win 4 out of the last 5 and get to 8-8. That's probably not going to be good enough. The key is going to be Week 15.
It could be good enough, though.
8-8 maybe, but can they go to Baltimore and stun the Ravens?
No, I don't think they can. I don't see that happening.
Wouldn't that be something if they do?
That would be something. But I think everybody else there on the schedule that you mentioned, I go, well, it's not crazy to think the Jets can't pull that game off. I mean, certainly the Bengals and the Dolphins, but they could give the Bills a tough time. The Bills aren't going to blow anybody out. I mean, you could take the defense off the field sometimes, and that game's still going to be close.
All I know is I'm starting to feel at least partially vindicated for having preseason faith in the Jets. I wish I would have looked more closely at their early season schedule because you were right. They had a tough road, but now they're at a spot where they can rack up wins.
It dictates seasons sometimes. If the Raiders started out with that schedule to start the year, I don't think they're sitting here, at, what are they, 6-5 now? It's just sometimes you get a little unlucky there, and yes, the Jets had the hardest start of the season on any team in football.
All right, for me, superlative, the Best Revenge is Living Well award. That goes to Jarvis Landry, who had 10 catches for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns against the team that traded him to the Cleveland Browns in 2018. And Landry quietly is having a spectacular season. He told me a couple of weeks ago he's noticed that teams are putting their best corner on Odell Beckham Jr. And letting that guy travel with Beckham. Meanwhile, Landry's leading the team in catches. He's leading the team in yards. So much for Odell Beckham Jr. Landry's still the machine, and he's still getting it done. And he had a great, great day against a team that he surely still harbors some ill will toward. And the Browns, here they are. They've won 3 in a row.
Here they go.
And another one of these examples where the schedule softens. What do you do with it? And from 3-6 to 6. Wait, they were 3-6. What are they now?
5-6.
5-6.
Still in it.
But they've won 3 in a row. They've gone from 2-6 to 5-6 with 3 straight wins, and they're very much alive.
And our Tony Dungy thinks whoever wins Steelers-Browns this week could be he thinks they're going to be one of the teams that are the 6th seed when all's said and done.
There really is a cluster of teams that are jockeying for that last spot. And I'll tell you what, we were talking about this last night. If I'm one of the teams that is high up on the list of seeding, I don't want the Colts rolling into town. I don't want the Steelers and I don't want the Colts. The Browns I think I could live with. But who knows? The way they're playing now, maybe you don't want the Browns.
They're dangerous. Again, I'll make the point to this. They outplayed the Seattle Seahawks and screwed the game up. I think if we mark down the plays against the New England Patriots, they won more plays in that game than the New England Patriots did. But what'd they do? They turned it over on 3 straight plays, so they lost that game. They beat the Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago. You can say what you want. The Bills are 8-3. They beat them. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they dominated them on Thursday night a few weeks ago. So there is talent there, and I would say watch out. This will be a big game. And I was going to use this as one of my superlatives too, so I'm glad you did because, if finally Odell and Jarvis get a touchdown pass in the same game, right? That's the first time all year that's happened.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.